What a panel we have for you today, and it's a packed one. Look at this. You can't see me because I'm never on camera, but I've turned up in a fine jumper. Next to me, TV royalty, the most popular Australian in Britain, certainly rugby league circles, Andrew Voss. How are you?
I'm well. The introduction is good. That means I better come up with something clever.
Well, that's what you do on the telly. I mean, this is your off time.
Yeah. It's wonderful to be at Wigan. I must say, I come here now with two of Galloway's bakery's finest in the comic cups, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. So I'm fueled by Galloway's. I've had a great lesson with Tony the cabbie on the way here from Wigan Central. Big Brett Kenny fan, so I'm ready to talk rugby league with the world here. With the world.
Well, you've all had your 5 minutes now because Andrew Voss is here. So. This is very intimidating. As a very minor cog in the broadcasting wheel in this country, the smallest of cogs. Everyone loves you. This is the concern I have. People have a go at me all the time about my hair, and it was worse in lockdown. Sure. But everyone in this country loves you.
I'm very humbled by the support. Very hard act to follow all the answers there. My answer is probably the sum of all that's just been said. The Rugby League Cup. First word that comes to mind, and this is my third time here, adventure. It's a rugby league adventure. And I, from my very first trip in 2000, where it rained from the first day I landed, and the sun came out at half-time in the final in 2000, rained every day in between. It's been an adventure. And the more you embrace it, the more you get out of it. It is far more than the games, than the 80 minutes that are played. It is the experience of the ground, of the fans, in little towns, getting up close and personal with the stars of the rugby league world. Now, I know the world's small, but this World Cup has the greatest depth of talent we have ever had. So if you are prepared to put aside big scorelines, you know that you are seeing the best of the best at this World Cup. It is an exceptional lineup of stars, and that's probably why we have more big scorelines, because we now have the strongest. I know Samoa didn't go well in the first game, but it is the strongest Samoan side we've ever had. The strongest Tongan side we've ever had. It's the strongest PNG side we've ever had. You go through the ranks. So I just think that for rugby league fans who just like watching the game, you are seeing the best. But for those who want to just get a taste of rugby league, and I use the word culture, folks, the Rugby League World Cup is the place to be. And as someone who's covered Rugby League World Cups in other parts, I'm going to say it, there's no better place than the UK to come and experience a World Cup.
Well, we are part of the Rugby League World Cup Cultural Festival, so I'm glad you said
culture.
Yes,
culture. Did I mention food in that? Oh, no.
Not yet. I mean,
we'll get to that later.
People will be surprised you haven't. I mean, as someone who, when I was 10 years old, my mum bought me a little mixing desk. It was brilliant, best thing she ever bought me. And I tried to be a commentator. And as people who will attest who've heard me, And I did a tape of myself doing a game off the telly, Leeds versus Man United, and it was dreadful. So I gave up on it then. As with many things in life. If you want to be a journalist, you've got to learn shorthand. I'll give up on that. Take shortcuts and everything. So in broadcasting, you just have to speak. It's all right. Sure. Filling time between records. How do you come up with these lines? Because people try to copy your style over here, and they don't. It doesn't quite work. How did Andrew Voss become Andrew Voss?
It's confession time, is it?
Crikey, hope not.
I'm a weirdo. I am a weirdo. Stuff that goes through my head when I'm calling a game, because it's my happy place. It's the only place I ever wanted to be. For whatever reason, from when my dad died when I was 8 years of age. We weren't poor, but we certainly weren't rich. My mum had to work, and I was the youngest of 3 boys, and I worked as a paper boy from the age of 7. The first thing I bought was my first my first 2 50-cent pieces I got paid in Australia. I bought a Big League magazine with one, kept the other half. And every week I'd buy a Big League magazine, and I became a rugby league fanatic. I just loved the game, and a commentator was all I ever wanted to be. And they say when you have grief early in your life, that you can latch onto something else subconsciously, and it was rugby league that I gravitated to because it's something adults did. It's something that I felt comfortable with. So every weekend I lived for it, and midweek I lived close to Leichhardt Oval, would go to games there. So I feel very fortunate. So my whole life has been watching rugby league. I am a fan, first, second, and third, and then on game day they're stupid enough to put a microphone on me. so anything could come out. Anything could come out. I've got to pull myself back. You know, there's no expletives, but yeah, I'm just a fan. I'm just going along for the ride, and call what you see as the commentator's mantra. I call what I see, but that's where the weirdness comes in, because I see things. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a quick example. Daniel Tupou, who you saw last night for Tonga. Hangover 2 came out, which is a really bad sequel. This is a real far-fetched story. Hangover 2 came out, and when in the opening scenes they're going along in the car and they've got the giraffe running along, and they go under the overpass and the giraffe's head gets taken off. I'd seen that movie the week that I went over to Auckland to call a Sydney Roosters game, and Daniel Tupou was playing. Daniel Tupou takes an intercept and is streaking downfield. And as he's streaking downfield, I look at him and I've got a flashback of the Hangover 2, and I call him the giraffe. I call him, he's like a giant giraffe running down the field. The nickname stuck. He's been the giraffe ever since. So that's the sort of weird that goes through my head when I'm calling games. Does that help at all? But it's out of a love for the game. I see the good way before I see the bad. Is there any bad? No. It's a beautiful sport. It's a beautiful game. Football fans, rugby league is the beautiful game. Cop that.
And you got to call Jamaica's first World Cup try.
Well, look, the World Cup has delivered me all sorts of moments, like amazing moments that make my life full as a rugby league fan. I called the first indoor game, if you remember back to the 2000 World Cup. Cook Islands, Lebanon was the first rugby league game indoors at Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. 22 all draw, Hazem El Masri.
Not the Millennium Stadium in Featherstone.
No, that's it. No. I called the 110-4 scoreline, Australia v Russia at the Boulevard, the old Boulevard.
Must have been exhausting.
I remember the Matt Donovan try like it was 5 minutes ago. Robert Campbell kicks a ball for Matt Donovan, catches Wendell Satter out to score in the corner. That's like it's 5 minutes ago. Now, to add to that scrapbook of memories, I have the Ben Jones Bishop try now, which I will remember forever. There's only one first. I was there, lucky enough to call it, and it was an incredible moment. It was seriously an incredible moment, and I feel so lucky. You know, suddenly take the headphones off. I'm just a fan. You know, I'm just present for something that people on the other side of the world, or the naysayers about the World Cup, they don't get it. They don't get it. They are missing out on something very special.
I have to admit, I was at work, so I was watching it on mute, so I didn't hear a word you said. But I did enjoy the pictures.
Yeah,
so
well, I do have a brother-in-law in Australia who backed Scotland to 0 and took the double into Jamaica to 0. And I think he got $8.50, gamble responsibly, in Australia, $8.50 price. And when I put my phone on at full time, I got one message on my phone. It started with an F. It had 2 letters in between and finished with a K. That's all I got. Not good call, brother. Or, yeah, what a moment. It was just that.
A children's library.
Yeah,
with the one was full.
4 minutes to go. 4 minutes to go. His $50 at $8.50, 425. Flew away. Oh.